Monster Hunter Wilds feels pretty boring without a challenge initially. Even as a newcomer to the series, I never really struggled, so there was no real need to grind for new weapons or armor, and the gear you craft just by playing through the story is more than enough for you to survive, which takes away from the incentive to hunt specific monsters for better equipment early on. That said, the weapon variety is fantastic, and it feels like it would take a lifetime to master them all, and the armor designs look really great. But I do wish there was more of a reason to fire monsters repeatedly for specific pieces of gear to help you out in fights. During the beta, fighting Arkveld for example felt like a proper challenge, tough but fair, and the shorter time limit added extra tension, but you won't need any of that in the main game as no fight takes longer than 10 minutes, and you probably won't die. The monster hunts themselves are really fun, and the variety of monsters really shines in the game. No two feel the same, and you can tailor the experience to your liking with the SOS system and Palico support, and you can get as much or as little help as you want. AI companions are surprisingly competent as well. Where the game really picks up is when you start to fight higher rank bosses. The bosses like the Black Flame aren't overly difficult, but they're super fun to kill. Cooking is also enjoyable in the game with an abundance of ingredients. It's easy to stay buffed throughout your hunts. Graphically, Wilds is a bit underwhelming. The game often looks blurry, and while you can sacrifice performance to improve visuals slightly, it's not something I've had to worry about in any other game, and I don't want to have to do that in this one. Cutscenes, however, are still solid. The main story is decent, not groundbreaking, but you'd expect that from a game like this. It's not too long to complete, but once it's done, the real game actually begins. Crown hunts, better gear, and most side missions won't unlock until the main story credits actually roll, but this will actually not be the full game as you can then rank up your hunter through the side missions and other things to unlock the 3 remaining chapters, and ultimately completing everything in the game will take actually a good chunk of time. Side missions are exactly how you imagine them to be. Talk to someone and you need to find one monster, endemic or not, and either capture or hunt them, and then you can return for your rewards, which you can use to help you along with monster materials to improve gear for you and your Palico. Ultimately, Monster Hunter Wilds is a fun game. The story and characters are solid, but the real highlights are the combat and monster variety. While it's not particularly challenging at launch, the devs have already promised tougher hunts in future updates, which might make collecting all the armors in the game worth your while, and hopefully that will raise the score of the game in the future over time. But as of now, it has not quite reached the levels of what I was expecting it to, but I'm sure many of you will disagree.